Real Screeners here, about to web sling our way into a review for Spider-Man Far From Home, and we're going to let you know if this is a satisfying conclusion to Phase 3 of the MCU, and whether you should watch this at a movie theater, or just wait for Blu-ray.
The Real Screeners are presenting their Real Take today from Mayhem Toys and Comics, located on the east side of El Paso at 2200 Lee Trevino, Suite B3B. If you like our review, don't forget to click that subscribe and bell button at the end, and stay tuned until the end of the video for our special giveaway and prizes. Today we have a special guest joining us, Matt Rothblatt, who is the co-creator and co-writer of the Spiralmind comic book series. We certainly want to thank Mr. Rothblatt for joining us for this review of Far From Home. Stay tuned until the end of the video for more information regarding Spiralmind. Far From Home is directed by John Watts, and it stars Tom Holland, Jake Gyllenhaal, Marissa Tomei, Samuel L. Jackson, and Zendaya. So after all of the events in Endgame, we have Mr. Spider-Man wanting to relax a little bit and get away from all of his adventures, and so all he wants to do is just get away with his friends, have a good time in Europe, you know, try and escape all his problems. But of course, wherever Spider-Man goes, trouble seemed to follow. He's chasing after the girl of his dreams, MJ, right, played by Zendaya, and then all of a sudden these creatures appear and Mysterio appears, and that's about all we can say because that's about all that's revealed in the trailers. But I am going to be the first one to say that this is a welcoming, worthy sequel to Homecoming, and with a fitting title, Far From Home, right? Lenny, what did you think of Far From Home?
The one thing I enjoyed most about this movie was how they continued and grew Peter Parker's character arc. You know, in the comic books, that's one of the most compelling things about Spider-Man that makes him so famous, right? Is he's kind of like your average teenager, right? And Tom Holland does a fantastic job with that, showing a teen who's grappling with both wanting to be a teenager, living up to expectations, and then of course having to save the world. So, Mr. Rothblatt, what did you think about this movie? Did it live up to your expectations?
Oh yeah, definitely. This was definitely worthy of being an in-game follower. We've been with Tom Holland Spider-Man for a while, even though this was the second movie of this version of Spider-Man. He's been in a few other movies, at least 3 other Marvel movies, that brought him into our hearts and into our universe, and so it kind of felt like a third movie or a fourth movie even.
Right, we've known him for a while. That's absolutely true. Yeah,
with all these others were like a prequel, but also the relationship that he had in those films carries over to this one. So it has a lot of heart, as all Marvel movies do, and it just carries over. And it's not just between the love interests or anything like that. It's heart all around. But yeah, it had every element that a Marvel movie needs to have to be successful, and this is definitely a great follow-on, and Spider-Man's doing it.
But did it have every element that was appealing? Because I know, Betha, you were talking about the villain, right? Mysterio. So, I mean, tell us what you were thinking about that.
About Mysterio? Well, you know, I just think that the character was a little bit underwhelming. And since the beginning of the film, you kind of know what's going to transpire, what's going to happen. I just felt that when it came to his character, it was a little bit predictable. I thought that Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job with that role. But as far as the villain is concerned, I prefer Michael Keaton in Homecoming a lot more.
Well, let me chime in here real quick because I kind of disagree, but agree at the same time. Okay. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're saying with that underwhelmingness, but that's kind of what I got pulled into at the beginning of the film, but it kind of turned for me later on. And the other thing, I can add, I'm a little bit older than you guys. I grew up watching the '69 Spider-Man series. I watched Batman too, but the '69 cartoon, and it had the Sinister Six. You know, they weren't the same. They were just every character, whether it was Doc Ock or Mysterio, or Electro, they all had green and yellow or green and whatever. Right. I love the fact that they used the same costume, essentially
the original
yeah, and it really brought it home for me. And of course, the Spider-Man suit, it seems to be going more and more to the original every chance you can. So in Endgame and in Infinity War, we saw the Iron Spider-Man suit, which was cool, I admit, but getting back to the kind of cloth techno stuff that you see in the trailers, cool. No spoilers, but it was awesome, and that's very nostalgic for me. and I think the next generation, it'll go with them as well, the next generations.
And to add on to that, I have to say that some of the best special effects in any MCU movie really tied to Mysterio's character, and there's some definite like similarities to Into the Spider-Verse with some of the images that Mysterio kind of forms.
The MCU always knows what they're doing, and it seems unbelievable how every movie seems to just raise the bar. I mean, we look at some of the tracking shots on Spider-Man that we thought were good back in the 2000s are even better now. All the different special effects,
the aerial shots, the point of view shots while Spider-Man is web slinging around, these European cities is amazing to look at. You're like right there with him swinging around, and it's
getting nauseous as he goes, between buildings.
Motion, so that you can really, observe the way that he's spinning around in the air and all of that. It's so eye-catching and it's wonderful to look at.
Right, and there's a scene that, like you said, Mysterio creates, without giving too much away, it is easily the best visual part of the movie.
But going back to the heart that you were mentioning and talking about earlier, I do want to say really quick that one of my favorite things about this movie was the callbacks to Iron Man. I think that they handled Iron Man's demise very well, and life after Iron Man very well. Right.
So to speak, in this movie, right?
Yes, and that's all we can say about that. Yeah.
It did feel like he was there. So, and that's part of the heart. That I was talking, one aspect of the multiple heart feels in this movie.
Let's talk a little bit about the humor in that film, guys.
Come on. The comedic timing was perfect.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a slight tonal shift from the first one, because the first one balanced it out. This is obviously more laugh out loud in the theater. What'd you guys think?
Oh, no, constantly. And this, especially these Spider-Man movies, even the earlier ones, but these last two and his cameos in the other movies really brought the comedy level to the next level.
I really enjoyed.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. It really works. It works with the whole him dealing with MJ and his friends and trying to like protect his friends from the imminent danger going on, that type of thing. And it opens with a really clever sequence, by the way, that is really, really funny. So
yeah, and the acting all around was really good. Obviously, we know that Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man ever.
I don't think so. I don't know about that.
I agree with him.
There you go.
Tobey Maguire's the best Peter Parker.
Yeah, and Zendaya does a great job of playing this dark, brooding teen, right?
I gotta say something about her. 2 days earlier, my daughter was having a Casey Undercover marathon on Disney Channel or whatever her show is in, and she's over the top, acting, doing these characters as a spy and all this stuff, and seeing her in these films and really getting to see her in this film really added another dimension to her as an actress. She was true to the core of the character. From the comic books, from the previous movies, and it was really charming to see those two on screen.
Great chemistry.
I kind of like how she's a more down to earth and has a dark side to her a little bit. I like that.
A little different.
A little different. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a counterpoint, or maybe even a little bit of a foil to Peter Parker.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
As we promised at the beginning of the video, I will let you know that in my opinion, this is a nice bow at the end of Phase 3. You should definitely watch this in the theater, and my rating for this out of 5 is going to be 4 solid reels.
As for me, my one negative criticism really is just the narrative. I just felt like it was a little bit predictable, and
especially if you know Mysterio, right?
Well, it was just like I knew where the story was going, but the journey there certainly was amazing. I mean, the action sequences, the special effects, Tom Holland is very likable, great chemistry all around with all of the other actors, with Zendaya, with Jake Gyllenhaal. So I'm going to agree with Mr. Lenny here and give it 4 reels as well.
Okay, all right. Let's see if Mr. Matthew Rothblatt is any deviation from ours. What do you got?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that it is a Spider-Man movie for the summer, and this is going to be the superhero movie this summer that everybody needs to see. Make sure you stick around after the credits, all of them. But with respect to the story, the comedy, the heart, and the special effects and the tech that's showcased in there, I give it a 4.
All right. All right, so
we all agree.
4's all around, guys. So there you have it, guys. This is definitely a movie you should see in the theater, a worthy successor to Part 1, Homecoming. And like we always say, guys, if you like our reviews, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you'll see all the alerts for every time we upload a video. And catch us on social media. We are at real.screeners for Instagram, and on Facebook, we are at Real Screeners.
And let's not forget to thank the Alamo Draft House for always providing great service, great atmosphere, great food, great place to watch a film. And we would like to thank our sponsor, Mayhem Toys and Comics, for allowing us to shoot this review in their store. Don't forget to pay them a visit at 2200 North Lee Trevino, Suite B3B. And speaking of Mayhem Toys and Comics, let's not forget to talk about our special giveaway provided by Mayhem. 2 comic book bundles, Marvel comic bundles, right here, guys. We'll send them out to you. All you guys have to do is comment on this video, and we will pick a random winner and we will send those to you.
But wait, there's more.
There is more. Spiralmind. Yes, Mr. Rothblatt. Spiralmind prints.
Artist Francesco from Rome, Italy, and Bianca from Phoenix.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll send those as giveaways as well. And speaking of Spiralmind, Mr. Rothblatt, where can people go to find out more information about your comic book series, sir?
Thank you for asking. First, they can go to Google and type in Spiralmind Comics, and they'll find a plethora of information. But if you want to get the comic books we have out now, we have about 8 comic books out right now. You can get them digitally for free at indieplanet.com. That's INDY Planet, PLANET.com, and type in the search Spiralmind. Download the digital copies for free, tell a friend, and then go like our Facebook page, Spiralmind, 3 Comics, and Matthew Rothblatt and Benito Perez.
Guys, please support our local comic book artists here in El Paso. And as always, stay tuned next time with the Real Screeners as we present more real takes on films.
Real Screeners here, and I'm going to do it all over again.
You didn't do anything.
I know. Okay.
The Real Screeners are presenting their real take from a different location today, out at Mayhem Toys and
Hey, I know you. You're Tobey Maguire, the suckiest Spider-Man / Peter Parker ever.
And who are you? Who are you?
I'm Tom Holland.
Tom Holland? Who's that?
Everyone loves me.
I was the original Spider-Man. I'm Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, but you suck. What are you doing now?
And I have the better MJ, buddy.
You know what?
And I'm winning.
A better MJ? Mine's awesome. No, go back to riding horses.
You need to.
Get out of here.
Get on.